So we have another Diablo 4 news video to react to. This one has an interesting title. So because of that, I want to jump in and check it out and see sort of what new update has the fans in an uproar, what big patch request is being ignored. So let's go ahead, let's hop in and let's get started.
Well, but let's get straight into this. First of all, talking about this one right here, it goes on to say this. It says, in Diablo 4, the Horadrim are returning. And I was like, wait, what is this? It had quite a bit of upvotes, one of the most discussed things going on right now within Diablo 4. Image Reverse suggests this is Diablo Immortal concept art. And yeah, if you go to Wowhead, we do have this right here. It says Horadrim cosmetic armor preview for all Diablo Immortal classes. This was posted in 2022 though, as you can see right here. So why in the world though would the Instagram for Diablo post this right here, but also notably use the Diablo 4 hashtag?
So to me, there's a lot of information to just unpack in those last couple sentences that were spoke. It sounds like Diablo Immortal had planned on using the Horadrim skins and selling them in game, right? And it sounds like they didn't do it back in 2020. So if they have these high quality, high res assets laying around, why, and they're in a Diablo 2, Diablo Immortal style, why wouldn't you just modify them, repackage them, and then ship them out, right? As a new cosmetic that you could then sell in Diablo 4. So it's not a waste of Diablo's, this is sort of like a waste of the assets. So my guess is that's probably exactly what's going to happen with these.
That is extremely important, the hashtag right there. If it is a mistake, that's a pretty big mistake. But people were also calling that out, saying, hey, yo, why in the world did they tag Diablo 4 misleading? Someone responded saying maybe it has something to do with the game, even if the art isn't from it or they used the wrong
They didn't use
tag.
the wrong tag.
It could also be a reference to a crossover event happening in Diablo Immortal,
That's
kind of
possible.
celebrating the launch of Diablo 4. That is a huge possibility and the most likely answer. And then, of course, the extreme speculation of this is that this could be a tease to a new class, but I think that's a bit much. I don't want to go that far with the speculation because we've heard so much with leaks and speculation.
That's what I think, Ern. I think they're going to take an unused Diablo Immortal asset, repurpose it, and then sort of put them in the Battle Pass for Diablo 4. Do you know what I mean? I have a feeling those are just going to be the skins that come out this season, this seasonal pass, sometime during this season. They've already got the assets. Why not use them?
For a new class. And if you missed it, you have to remember that they are doing a World of Warcraft Diablo 4 crossover event as well. So you can see crossover events are very much a thing. If you don't know about this, check it out. It goes on to describe it as the following. However, a more recent build of the PTR has now given players exact dates when to expect this crossover. The event is actually split into two separate activities. The first being a greedy emissary. From May 25th through June 13th, players can hunt down the treasure goblins to earn special cosmetic rewards. Now, part 2, Welcome to Sanctuary, begins on June 15th and runs through July 10th. The segment gives players a 50% experience boost and an 8% buff to reputation gains, except for the new Loam Niffin Renown faction from the Embers of the Netharian. So you can see there in World of Warcraft, it looks like they are going to be doing their own Diablo 4 themed events with rewards. It only makes...
You just canceled your WoW sub the other day. I subbed for like a year. I think last time I played WoW, I subbed for like a year up front.
Makes sense that Blizzard would be using their existing gaming platforms, I guess you would call them.
Why wouldn't you?
To really celebrate and advertise and market their brand new game.
I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. The crossover events don't surprise me, and the crossover events are a great way to try to drum up people already in your ecosystem and get them to download and try the new game. So, I mean, it makes sense to me, for sure.
So, that's what I'm looking at, according to this recent post from Blizzard and the Diablo social media team. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about Barbarians, because yes, there was a fairly recent data mine that discovered something very cool about the Barbarians.
I think that people, anytime you talk about data mines or leaks, you have to take them with a huge grain of salt.
All right, check it out. It says Blizzard may have tried Barbarians with shields. I was looking at some of the data mined info and I stumbled upon this. It is likely it is outdated, but now I kind of want the option. Sad emoticon face. And you can see here how it describes Barbarian weapon expertise shield technique. Now, of course, this could be an old element of the Barbarian that was scratched, and then they were like, hey, you know what? Let's reserve shields for an entirely new class like the Paladin. Or they could actually add this into the game eventually. Why do I say that?
So I'm thinking that more than likely this is something that is like a data point saver. See you, Lamia. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I think that this is probably more of a data point saver, right? It's already in the code. The character already supports it. If they ever want to use it, they can just sort of turn that part of the code on. If they decide they don't ever want to use it, they don't ever have to use it. But it's probably more of a smart practice to get it in, get it functioning, and then just not use it because it's already there. And then that gives them the option moving forward.
Though, because recently the dev team has been very, very open about the idea that yes, they do want to continuously update the current classes that are in the game, that they don't just plan to release the game and abandon them. They want to add new skills, new passives, and then further flesh them out as time goes on. So the likelihood of a Barbarian actually getting a shield down the road is, in my opinion, pretty high, even if the Paladin...
Yeah, that's the thing, right? I mean, it could be a file in the code for future. Anytime you find something, a loose string of code, especially that, like literally is like just a couple lines of code, just laying around someplace, you really have to take it with like a pretty big, you know what I mean, like pinch of salt or grain of sand or whatever. They literally could have just wanted to test some stuff with shields, and so they just put it on to try it out. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't. It's not really indicative to anything other than the fact that they want it to be in there in case they want to have it for the future.
Does release, but this is how I expect it to go down. I expect us to first and foremost get a shield class to ensure that he is unique, and then eventually they might work their way and say, hey, check this out. Barbarians also get the option to carry around a shield. So that's my assessment on how things could potentially go down. So let's talk about some controversy going on around Blizzard. This is the headline right here. It says, Blizzard producer claims studio is creating crisis maps as more employees depart. Yikes, that does not sound good, but does it even affect Diablo 4? We'll get into it. It says a producer at Blizzard has taken to Twitter to express frustration at a series of departures from the World of Warcraft studio, saying the team is making crisis maps of what they can and cannot ship due to so many employees leaving. This is not a good situation.
But World of Warcraft, World of Warcraft, the Dragonflight expansion was really received with a lot of fanfare. A lot of people think that the Dragonflight expansion was the best expansion in recent memory, if not ever, right? And since then, some of the latest stuff and some of the changes and stuff, like World of Warcraft just hasn't maintained a lot of retention, a lot of viewership's going down, and a lot of players, playing's going down. So I could see maybe some people wanting to leave the company, maybe because there's a difference in sort of opinions, and then sort of to Ern's point, except maybe about World of Warcraft. They've already put out a big X pack. They're not going to do a major X pack anytime soon. Maybe they don't need as many people. So maybe they're forcing people out. Maybe people are quitting. Yeah, it is Blizzard that's doing it, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to have any impact on Diablo. And I think it was either in the dev live stream or one of the recent videos or interviews we saw when they talked about sort of like how is the team split at Blizzard work. And it was pretty much explained during that video that the people that work on like D2R work on D2R. The people that work on D3 work on D3. The people that work on World of Warcraft work on World of Warcraft. So having like a branch or a division have issues within a giant company isn't that sort of big of a deal. And because it's already been stated that all of these teams work independently, there should realistically be no crossover and any effect or impact to Diablo 4 at this time.
At all. You got to remember that this is a producer, okay? This is someone that has worked their way up to a very big role in the Blizzard scene. Now, furthermore, it goes on to say this.
Also, just because they're a producer doesn't mean they started out as a temp and worked their way up through the ladder of Blizzard. Blizzard is a multinational corporation. Once you start dealing with high-tier employees, typically they're hired in at or near that level, and then they stay there till they move on, right? And that's how they sort of do it. So unless we knew exactly which producer this was, where he started out, how long he's been with the company, I don't feel like that's a fair generalization.
In a thread earlier this week, Adam Loxigrav lamented that they had lost another person this week, saying that Blizzard is losing amazing talent because someone in power doesn't listen to the game directors who make his products. So yeah, Activision.
That's creative differences, and you're always going to have that anytime you're dealing with people who are producing or making content, and the people who are in charge. You know what I mean? Those types of individuals always butt heads, and it's not that big to see when difference of opinion or difference of directions show up in companies that the sort of the subordinate leaves because you can't really force the person above you or in charge of you to like adopt your viewpoint.
In Blizzard, they've always had problems, crunch, overworking, and now this. But how in the world does this affect Diablo 4?
That's what I think, Ern. I don't think that there's any real crossover here at all into Diablo 4.
That's a big question. Well, only recently did we get this right here from Osmond Gold, who reacted to a YouTuber saying that Diablo 4 is being rushed out unfinished according to insider sources.
Every game is fucking released unfinished. Newsflash, like I hate to tell anybody that's watching this, but every game anymore is released unfinished to some degree because companies can do it because directions change and they can make post patches. It's not like it was in the 90s where whatever you bought on a disc or in a cartridge was the game you got. How you doing, Lemon? Could be rushed, but somehow went gold 2 months. Yeah, that's the thing. It went gold almost 2 months. Or it went gold almost 2 months before the game released. It's not like it waited till the last minute to get certified. Just got a shower. How's your shower? I feel like people that say games are rushed or whatever, like every game's rushed anymore. Every game comes out partially unfinished.
At Blizzard.
No, yeah, that's what I mean. Diablo 4 is gold. And it was gold like 6 weeks, 7 weeks before the game launched.
Is it true? I don't know. Based on what is happening right now with Diablo 4, with the most recent dev live stream, patch notes, and that sort of thing, I have been overwhelmingly impressed by how they have been responding to the community so far. And to think they're also doing this upcoming Server Slam weekend, another essential beta test, that's huge. It doesn't feel like this is being super rushed, of course. They're really fine-tuning the experience, and they have a good plan in place. And from my experience with my
I'll agree. Like, what I said still stands. Every game is fucking rushed. Every game is put out underbaked because companies can get away with it. Could Diablo probably use another 6 months in the oven to tweak out major systems and add in systems that should already be there, like the ability to save your loadouts and stuff like that? Absolutely. But it went gold already. The beta, the game played pretty decent. And they're mainly just trying to fine-tune the servers for launch. Most companies aren't that far ahead when a game launches anymore. You don't believe the gold status? Gold status just means it's ready to ship, right? That's all gold status means, is that, unless I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure gold status just means that like the game has been certified on consoles and that it's locked down and they're not making any changes and that it's ready to ship. That doesn't necessarily mean the game's in the best place or the game doesn't need things. It just means that like all the consoles, everybody's certified it. They're ready to start printing discs and shipping games if they want. That's the way I understand it. If I'm wrong about gold status, you guys let me know, or let me know down in the comments. But that was what I thought gold status was.
Personal experience with the game, I love it so far. So yeah, a lot of this news about problems at Activision and Blizzard so far, okay.
Physical medium basically means developers lock down the release version of the game. It's completed bug-free, and now it's time to stick it in boxes and ship it to the stores. So yeah, pretty much what I thought. The game's done. They're not making any changes to it. You're ready to package it and sell it, and that's pretty much what I was saying. So if that's where they're saying the game is, and they're at that point this far out, that's pretty decent. Yeah, you don't disagree. Game's done. Ship it and sell. That's what I thought.
So far, being the key words, really hasn't affected Diablo 4 too much, at least from what I am seeing right now. But we'll see if it creeps its way to Diablo 4 eventually. That's the concern.
Right. Because the game's gold. Are there things I'd like to see in the game? For sure. Are there things that aren't in there that should be there in launch? Absolutely. But is the game ready to sell? I'm sure it is.
All right, so we got to talk about one of the most requested changes that we have yet to see Blizzard implement into Diablo 4, and that is this one right here. It says, no change to world bosses, no level restrictions. I am seriously shocked at this after reading the developer notes. There was no mention of them making the event restricted to level 20s only. Hell, even level 18 plus would be nice. I seriously think it's very toxic to see a bunch of level 14s running around a level 20 boss. I personally have had a few failed attempts at this boss due to low level characters showing up. It doesn't set a base for friendly interaction between players, and if people, have limited time to play the game and get to see the boss maybe once a day, come on, Blizz, you need to implement this. I think it's...
I appreciate you being here, Izo.
Very important, and I wholeheartedly agree. And he brings up a great point, by the way.
I don't
about
remember
there being some level.
I really don't remember. Did they say something about that, Ern?
Of hostility between higher level players and then low level players when entering a world boss. Of course, it's going to be naturally that way if you're really, really serious about defeating this world boss. It just only makes sense to have some sort of level requirement for entering this boss battle. I don't know if it should be 5 levels less than the boss, because right now we're heading into the Server Slam weekend in a couple of weeks, and they are going to have it quite a challenge. We're going to be 5 levels less than Ashava here. So it seems like Blizzard knows that this is the bare minimum for kind of defeating Ashava, it seems.
Did they say Ashava was still going to be level 25? Was there, let me know, chat. Was there actually an official announcement saying the level of Ashava, or is that just an assumption? Because my assumption was that Ashava was going to be tuned to the level 20s because you don't have your alt. And then also, I'm just going to bring this up really quick. This is going to be just something I just want to point out. If there are sort of like, if this is sort of like 1, 2, 3, right? We'll go like this, 4, 5. So if there are 5 acts in Diablo, they scaled it down, right? So one thing I want to point out here, in Diablo 4, there's like level scaling. I don't want to get too deep in this because it's only speculation, but there's level scaling, right? So Act 1 is like levels 0 to 20, right? Act 2 is going to be like level 21 to level 40, right? Act 3 will be like level 41 to level 60. And it might not be this high because like you're done with the campaign at level 50. But let's just, for the sake of argument, to make math super fucking easy, do this, right? 61 to like 80. And this will be like 81 to 100. Okay? Just for quick, simple, stupid math. If you go to fight a world boss here, right? Boss. Fair? If you're a level 0, if you're a level 10, you will not live to get to that world boss. They also said it was too difficult. You could scale down the difficulty. Exactly, because you've got world tiers, right? So you got like T1, T2, T3, and T4. So this right here is going to be a limiting factor, right? Because you're going to have world tiers that are going to... You obviously can't get into a world tier 3 unless you're a certain level and blah, blah, blah. My main point here is if it's a level 10 and a level 10 shows up and tries to like involve itself in a level 81 world boss, it'll never live. Like it'll never make the trek to the level 81 world boss. It'll permanently get killed, right? Now, if the world boss here is a level 100 world boss and you've got some level 88s that show up and you're a level 100, is this going to be a disadvantage? Yeah, it is. But at that point, it's going to be about gears and builds and all sorts of other things, and your level's probably going to matter a lot less. So I think people like looking at things based off the beta and just freaking out because a level 14 was there when you were level, you know what I mean, is going to be there as there's like a 6 level difference here. How you doing, Kraken? You know, there's like a 6 level difference here. That's not that big of a deal. Like, it's going to feel like it, but realistically, people were soloing Ashava on rogues. Like, solo, by themselves, killing the whole fucking boss. So, obviously, 1 or 2 people, it's not going to make that much of a difference.
The group. So, I think...
I don't know. I just want to point it out. I think a lot of things are being hyperinflated and overblown from the beta. I really do. I honestly think that a lot of people are just hyperinflating and overblowing problems from the beta, either because 1, they like to create issues, or 2, they really just don't understand things. Like, could there be actual problems? Maybe, but I think a lot of it is just really hardcore speculation at this point. How you doing, Rachel? You having a good day, Kraken?
I think they should start there at the very least. All right, let's get into...
I mean, the dev's job isn't to protect you. The dev's job is to give you a game to play. You know what I mean?
Your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up in a future video. So what's...
But that's sort of so they're just gonna go do their comments and stuff, and I'm fine without going through all that. But let me know what you guys thought. I try to keep it pretty honest with you guys on my views and my opinions and sort of my takes on a lot of these videos. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And as always, have a great day.